Okay. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me this evening on the Silver and Show. And there it is, Silver and Show. And in review tonight, where we look at some of the top news, and I just want to welcome you to this evening. It's a beautiful evening. I like to say all evenings are beautiful, just like our mornings are beautiful. The mornings that I take a walk in the park, it's all beautiful, all smashing, all fantastic. And but tonight just going to go straight into it, ladies and gentlemen, because I think that there is a major crisis. I think there's a major crisis, and I'm not the one that think there's a major crisis. Even the Bank of England governor thinks that there's a major crisis. Today, if you did not know, the interest rate was announced by the governor of the Bank of England to be 3%. 3%. Okay? 3%. And that 3% mean to say a 0.75% was added on today. And when that happens, it's going to add on to the various costs of living, which are hitting people. You're having things like the interest rate, which has been up for a while, petrol, gas, electric, cost of living, even orange juices. I want to say about this orange juice, which I used to get for 55 pence, 85p, massive jump. Everything is going up. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? Tonight, one of the things I want to talk about is let's have a conversation. How are we going to cope? Because we can't roll over and die. You know, are you going to be seeking another job on top of the job that you have? Are you going to be creating new opportunities? You know, cutting back, downsizing. Let's talk. I'm not going to say that I'm an expert. I'm definitely not an expert. I may have experts coming on tonight. I may have persons coming on tonight who say they're experts, but let's just go for it. And who knows? Let me just bring in the representative of the Lord. Have you got have you got the representative of the Lord must have um wealth of information. Gary, welcome and thank you so much for joining this evening.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
like the 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 introduction there, man. I'm an ambassador, I'm an ambassador of heaven. And according to the Minister of Finance up there, there's no problem.
That is very interesting because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
True, true,
If,
true. So
if,
as
if,
far
if
as
that's if that's a good way to start the process.
I
I
mean, as far as the economy of heaven is, the economy of glory, we don't
mm,
have a problem up there at all. So if it's those who are a part of this realm. I'm part of the
yes.
spiritual realm. Some of us are so earthly minded, also heavenly minded. We're not earthly good.
I have another guest as well. Mr. Donovan Smart. Let me see if he's around. Donovan, are you there? Let me see if he's.
Yes, I am.
Hey, Donovan. Well, Gary,
Greetings, greetings.
greeting. Gary Donovan Smart is here. Now he hasn't been here for a while, and the topic is about are you seeking another job, creating new opportunities, cutting back, downsizing? Let's talk. I think he has the answer, Gary.
Hello, Donovan. Donovan Smart. I don't think we've met before, but it's good being on the same show as yourself.
Yes,
and
indeed. Nice to meet you.
yeah,
Yes, nice meeting you, man.
and welcome to Michelle as well. Peace and balance all in the building. Donovan, should I share this link to the team in Leaps?
This team, yep, you could.
Should I share it? Okay, I'll do it. Well. Anyway, guys, listen. First of all, Michelle, good evening. First of all, I just wanted to have one simple focus tonight because today when I was working, diligently doing my work, and just, for king and queen, king and country and everything, and then the Bank of Jamaica governor came out, this big belly guy, and said, we are going to be increasing the interest rate up to 3%. and what he's talking about is moving it with 0.75, and I'll see if I can bring an image here just to show, because I found it very concerning, because most of the time they talk about the economy. And let me just play this a bit, if we can, and let me know if you guys can hear it.
I would say this. I'm afraid, I will say this, and I think, it's easier to lose confidence, and it takes longer to regain it. And I think the UK's position was affected. Yeah, I was in Washington 3 weeks ago. I think you were in Washington 3 weeks ago. It was very apparent to me that the UK's position and the UK's standing had been damaged, and that we all, and particularly I and others, have to roll our sleeves up and demonstrate that UK policy making is back in action, and we will deal with these issues.
Did you guys hear? Yeah.
Yes, we heard. We heard.
Yeah. And even though
Yes.
just a quick snippet there, but the information which is going out there now is that he said interest rate has got to go up, and the Bank of England has warned as well that the UK is facing its longest recession since records begin, as it raised interest rate by the most in 33 years. It warned the UK would face a very challenging 2 year slump, with unemployment nearly doubling by 2025. The bank boss, Andrew Bailey, is a gentleman, warned a tough road ahead for UK households, but said it had to act forcefully now or things will be worse later on. It lifted interest rate to 3% from 2.25% to the biggest jump since 1989. What's your reaction, guys? Gary?
Can I pass it on to my learned colleague Donovan Smart first?
Donovan, what's your take on that? And ladies and gentlemen on Instagram, Facebook as well, what's your take on this interest rate? Donovan, first, your reactions, please.
Okay, great. Well, special greetings to each and everyone. Donovan Smart, I am a solution provider. Yeah. Yes. So what I think about it, well, Casilborn and everybody in the audience, I think the interest rate is to be expected. All right, because we are living in a fast-paced world right now, and the thing is, the technology is advancing so much, and the way how things is actually revolving so much in the world right now. The majority of the economy, all right, is not actually catching up. All right, and with these things actually happening, what if I now you're getting a heavy gap between what they call them, the 1%ers, the elites, or those who are in authority, and those who in the economy. So you're getting that gap now, and as we go on our life on an everyday basis, it keeps getting wider and wider now, to the point now it is getting it's getting into a real mess. And guess what? I've been telling, when we do, my wife Lisa Smart and myself do our train our team, yeah, and when we do our solutions and stuff, is the fact that every year it's gonna get higher and higher and higher. All right. Now, people have to realize they have a voice, yep, and they have a voice and they have the power to make the difference, yep. And so my opinion in this, yep, is that I was expecting it to come, all right, because everything actually goes up and up. So the thing is, what will happen in the next 2 to 5 years, yep, all right, everything literally increasing. So it was expected to come. That's my thought about it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we got that initial reaction there. Gary, what's your take still? Because I mean, we have been talking about this for a while and looking at how the economy is run. Many people are blaming the boogeyman, which is Putin, and sometimes I keep saying this question: the market, the market, the market, the economy, the economy, the economy. But somehow the people seem to be getting the brunt of this. And one wonder who is actually looking out for the people. It's like this economy is this also this boogeyman. Everybody's trying to protect this economy, protect this market. I mean, in the recent days when Corseting and that major, you know, policy which Liz just put forth, the reporters kept saying the market, the market, the market. The market, the market, the market. I keep hearing the market, the market, the market. And nobody's actually saying the people, the people, the people. Gary.
I think I hear what my learned expert has said there, and I partly agree with him. But at the same time, I think that we know that at least this, if not the world, there are those in the Western world who it's market driven, isn't it?
Yes.
Everything is market driven, and I also believe that while we're receiving these interest rate hikes at this time, I believe it's also partly because of what happened under the previous prime minister of 45 days, which was Liz Truss.
Mm,
Now, now again, I agree with what Donovan has said again because it was going to happen eventually, even if I believe Liz Truss and the Chancellor at that time did things the way that, um, did things another way. I think that things would have taken longer to reach where we are, but I believe that interest rates would have had to go up, if not straight away, gradually, because everywhere is going up. I mean, in America, they are putting interest rates up slowly, and in other economies also. In Europe, we're not hearing it much, but in Europe, in the Far East, which I hope I'm including, like Japan and such, a major economy, Australia, another major economy, they are having to raise interest rates. If they do, or if they have, I'm not aware of it. I am not. I am not up to speed where they are concerned. But
mm,
I think that um, we're having to tighten our belts, and it's a pity that things have gone through the roof. But yes, I would agree that interest rates would have had to go up. It's just a pity that it is. Um, I just want to mention one thing that um, petrol,
mm.
fuel in the States. Now, I was reading just today or this afternoon that the president is releasing fuel reserves. Why is he doing this? Again, the commentator was saying that it is felt that it's because of the midterms. He's trying to
Okay.
artificially keep prices low.
Yeah.
But when the midterm happens, which will be after November the 8th, then prices are going to go back through the roof. And
Mm,
if that doesn't help, or if that's a contributing factor, also interest rates there are going to go up. I think that is inevitable when we look at the situation on the world economy. There is
mm,
nothing much really that the Bank of England and even the Reserve in the Federal Reserve in the United States, which are two major economies, there's nothing much that they're going to do to help. Nothing much. And even with the large companies, energy companies such as BP, Shell,
mm.
Exxon Mobil, and all of these companies that are making exorbitant amount of
Yes.
profits, what they're
Yes.
making in what they are making in one quarter, I may be exaggerating a bit, but what they're making in
Mm,
one quarter, they probably in the past have made it either in 6 months or in a year. They're fleecing the people, and what these governments need to do, at least for 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 the citizens of the respective countries that these people have, that these companies are placed in, is to tax them, windfall
Mm,
tax, at
yes.
least in the short term. Because if these companies are being allowed to do what they're doing, and then the banks are then having to put up interest rates because of whatever fiscal policy they may be following, yes, it's going to be added pressure on on the citizens of the respective countries. I feel sorry for myself. I feel
Yes.
sorry for a lot of our people
Yes.
because food is going through the roof, energy prices are going through the
Mm,
roof, mortgages are going to go through the roof, and even when people who are buying property,
yes.
it's going to go way out of their reach. Never mind those who are paying rent.
Yeah,
It's going to be unbelievable
yeah,
too.
yeah, because people are actually even holding back on buying properties. But the one of the things they say why prices are rising so fast is that the oil and gas prices is an increase because they were in greater demand as life gets back to normal after COVID. At the same time, the war in Ukraine meant less was available from Russia, putting further pressure on prices. Someone wrote on my page today to say this is also because of the lockdown and paying people free money to a certain extent. You know, that money had to come back from somewhere. The war in Ukraine also led to food prices going up by reducing the amount of grain available. Price of food, non-alcoholic drinks rose by 14.6%. I just made a statement earlier that orange juice, I realized one shop I went to, orange juice was like 55p, gone up to 85p. Now all the different supermarkets now are angling around 85 to 1p. And sometimes they say if you buy four, you get a lower price. But things are just going up. But what I didn't want to labor on today was the lot of the problem because like Scotty just said something here, and I'm going to go to Donovan after this. We can sit and talk about these people forever, but frankly speaking, they're all a bunch of criminals sitting on on our wealth. You know, that's what someone said. Is it that we need to start thinking about going to get me out of here, out of the jungle, like Matt Hancock, 400,000? We have to look at different ways. Donovan, is it that we need? Is it that instead of people I think we've got to reach to a reality now, and this is a reality check I believe people have to face now. Let's just say it's not gonna get better, and I think that is putting at an extreme. So therefore, you are being real. Don't sit back and expect it to be better. But the question is, what can you do to make it better for you? You know, as a term which I put, and I let this run across the screen. Are you seeking another job? Creating new opportunities, cutting back, downsizing. Donovan, what would you say? I know you're into business and different ventures and you're Mr. Solution oriented. What would you say to persons at this time?
Okay, I would say to this persons right now, yep, is the thing is basically you have to create additional streams of income. All
Mm,
right, because this is where society actually misled us. All right, because they never taught us that in school. Yep. All right, in school they more taught us to be employees, but they never give taught us to have that independence of having multiple streams of income. And you see right now what is actually happening under our eyes right now. The world is actually going digital, as you can see. Yep, it's literally going cashless. And this is actually happening right underneath our feet. And 95% of the people is unaware that this is happening. All right. Now, some people would say, look, what to do, what to do, get a next job, get a next job. I was speaking to a gentleman the other day, and he say like, Donovan, you know what? This economy is hard, and in my job, yep, I'm working for 2, 3 years, but I need to get a raise. And I say, well, what's the recommendation for that raise? What did they give you? Well, I have to go and do a 3 year semester in the industry or the skill that I'm doing, and I had to get the certificate, and then I'll be able to get that promotion. I said, well, does that make sense? Like, what do you mean? I said, well, it's 3 years to go and do that. All right. what is the price of the race? What extra what $500? Okay, all right. So your salary going from what 2,005 to 3,000. Yep.
Mm.
And as I say, you're going to do 3 years to do a semester just to get a certificate, just to get a 500 pound raise. Yeah. Do you know
Mm.
by that time that 3 years will come, that inflation would have already outpaced that? So you come like you're going back to square one. Yeah. You're going back to square one. So the thing is, what moving fast now is a lot of people don't realize the technology industry is the one that actually giving the people the extra income. Yep, and you see, the economy, I would say most people, because I have to say most people, or the majority of people, is not advancing themselves, right? Listen, we was in the baby booming age, we was in the property stage, yeah. Now we in the information technology stage,
Yeah.
yeah. We in
Mm.
the digital currency stage, yeah, the digital currency stage, and people is not actually educating themselves, all right. And now it gets so advanced right now, Silbon, because today now technology is smarter, cheaper, and affordable, and can help you actually earn that extra income. Yep. But it's not like the old days where now, in order to have that skill, you have to go do a university semester for 3 years. No, everything, the
Yes.
informational age is out there on the internet. Yep. You know, yeah, and this is where but some of the younger generation picking up on this now, all right, because it's a shift, all right, because by the time you go do a second job, number one, you're getting less time with your family, yeah.
Yes.
Number two, yep, you're getting taxed more, all right, yep, and number three, you would eventually get your health burnout, yep, all right,
Yeah, your
because
quality of
this,
life and your health. You can't
yes,
you
yes.
can't you can't walk in the morning, in it, and exercise and feel
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
And it's shocking to see, and it's heartbreaking to see that you work 40 years of your life. Yep. You might get a mortgage. You have to pay that mortgage for the rest of your life. Yep. And then with all the stress happening and stuff, sometimes you may have to work your retirement age just to finish pay that mortgage. And when you overwork yourself there, you get physically challenged now. Yep. Where sometimes you mightn't keep your mortgage. You have to sell your house now to go in a home, which could almost cost, yep, as close to a house, yeah, because the way how healthcare, elderly care is, yeah. So it's showing that this all this what we have in the system is not working anymore. Okay, it's not working. It's get outdated. It's get out of tune. So my advice to people is you have to have multiple streams of income, but you have to go in the digital industry. Yep, literally the digital industry. Yes, you have products. Yeah, you have the product industry. The product industry reign at a time, but everything is moved so fast. Okay, all right. So, and then we have the myth. The people have to actually have the mentality and have to think, because too much fear and negativity, what they're giving the energy into is that's what they get in towards them. Yep, it have to start with the mentality. So I'm telling people, listen, start changing the mentality, because you think government is our leaders. Yes, they are our leaders. We respect that. But they are also our servants. Yep. Their position is to lead, to govern the country, but yet is to provide what solutions it is possible for the economy and the people to have what a comfortable life, or have peace in the nation, to have peace in the life. Yeah. Okay, instead of because they're just putting out a lot of laws and manipulation, but they're not actually providing solutions to increase the people income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a pin on that one, solutions, and just look at a couple comments here. Um, Scotty never tells us who he is, and I just put it up because he mentioned it there. I like persons to disclose who they are. He said that's not true. The digital currency will put us all in perpetual slavery. You can come back to that, Donovan. Um, Michelle Clark is saying, yes, Donovan, I was just saying the same thing to my sister this morning. I'm so glad I teach my children to be entrepreneurs, not to work for someone else. But Michelle also said this as well. My daughter is a realtor and is selling her first house, and it's been sitting on the market for several months now. She have to be paying two mortgage and two light bills, you know. at the same time. Um, so I think it's very interesting as you mentioned about solutions, and just like how Scotty sort of hit you down right there, I tend to scoff at that. You know why? Because just because he hit you down, or not even hit you down, by making that sort of remark to push it away, but at the end of the day, I don't think Scotty is going to come and help us. So we have to help ourselves. you know, Gary, what's your take on creating different opportunities, creating solutions? Scotty, I show that one at you. You know, you need to come on the show and actually show your face one day. Gary, yes.
Yeah, I think I I I do support Donovan and anybody at all that gives anything, any solutions or encouragements in that way. That is fine. That's okay. But what about those who don't have that ability? What about those who may not be wired in that way? What about those who are not really, they're not, they're, they're not
You know,
clued
that's
up
sharp.
to do that? Yes.
Mm,
You know, I mean, it's those people. I know opportunities are there for everybody.
yes.
It's, I believe anybody who wants to do anything at all, yes, they ought to be encouraged. They should be encouraged,
Mm,
very much so. But what about, let us say, the likes of you and I? Now, 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 like you, Silborn. I don't know if you have anything in mind that you want to make money from, but
I'm,
just take it
I'm
this
with
way.
I'm with Donovan making some money with Donovan. I'm in Donovan's corner. We're in business together already. And ladies
But
and gentlemen, if you want to find out, just link me and Donovan. That's why I bring Donovan on because we're into some stuff, you know.
okay,
I've been
but
doing business for years, yeah.
okay,
Hmm,
okay. Well, that is good. But then
yeah,
there may be somebody like you, Silborn, who is a lawyer like you.
yeah.
They're working for either the local authority, they're working in a big business, they're
Mm,
working, in a lawyer's firm. That's what they do. They don't have anything else to want to go to. They're working. So what else then can they do to earn more money? You see, there will always be someone, a group of people, persons, whatever,
mm,
wherever, somewhere in the system, in the framework, that is going to be hit, that's going to
mm,
struggle, that's going to have some difficulties. And
mm,
it's those are the people that we have to
mm,
that has to be thought about. It's not everybody that's going to be the entrepreneurial type. Not
yes,
everybody is going to want to go out and earn the extra money, even though
yeah.
they need the extra money. Like myself, I need the extra money, but I don't know
Mm,
what else to do. I mean, my okay. If everybody doesn't know, let me tell you. I mean, I'm a minister. I've always more or less been in church.
mm,
The church I'm pastoring is not my church. Is not my first church. No, to pastor. I've pastored a few churches. I've Silver knows, my family and the
mm,
history of my family, of where we're coming from. There isn't anywhere in my family that are entrepreneurs. Not to say that I can't be, but that's not in me. Now, with all of what's happening in society
mm,
right now, and I'm in the United Kingdom, I've lived in Jamaica, I've lived in America, and I'm here now. Um, with all the pressures that are around me, my church, because it's part of a larger organization, even
yeah.
though yes, very much, it is in, it is very much, um, um, uh, um, it supports businesses, it
Mm,
supports the those who want to go into business. But for me, ministry is a full-time work for me, even though again I have pressures on me. I have pressures. How am I? Sometimes I have to wonder, how am I going to cope? How am I going
Yeah.
to come to terms and deal with the situations that affect
Yeah.
me? Because the local church that I'm in, um, it can't do any more than what it is right now.
Yeah.
So,
And-
so, so, as a real person in a real world, yes, I think that's where people then come to me and say, "Well, Parson," or as my friend, one of my friends on your platform said, "I'm a man of the cloth. I'm gonna have
yeah.
to go back to God and
Mm.
and have faith, exercise my faith, because I can know and I know that
Mm.
really my faith has taken me through. And if some people want to know, hear some testimonies about me,
Yeah.
then I won't tell them now. You can
Yeah.
always inbox me or get
Yeah.
some.
I think Gary and Donovan can come in after a while because as I mentioned, the discussion is about solutions and what persons can do, and that's why I said some persons may want to hold a second job, some persons may want to leave the job that they have to look for another one. Like agencies now, agencies now are actually recruiting a lot. People are no more loyal at the same time to organizations anymore. They're running which one can pay them more. They're actually trying to get that increase, which they're not going to get that increase from the present organization they are. So they're going to other ones. But I think a key thing is this, and Donovan can come back in this, is that even though persons are not entrepreneurs, not some sort of companies or organization talks about investing, and then by investing they need someone to teach them that way whereby their money can work. Argument's sake is that I can, if I go into the off when I used to go to the office daily, I would drive towards the motorway and I stop at a petrol station and I have a Costa coffee, £3 something. On my way back home, and if I go to court or something like that, I'll buy another coffee along the way. And then on my way back, I'll buy another coffee on the motorway. You want to put it in your holder. That's roughly £10. And if you do that 3, 4 times a week, you're talking about £25, if anything, or more. But at the same time, I've got in my kitchen about 3 different coffee machines. I've got my Blue Mountain coffee. And I could also make coffees. So I think people up to now to start to think and say, hang on a second, maybe I can sort of save some money and invest that. But I want to bring Donovan. Donovan, come in there because we're looking at solutions. And in every obstacles, there's a way forward. What would you say in that situation,
Yes,
Gary?
and there's always, and exactly, because look at back in 2008 too, as when we had the big financial crash. Yeah, that is
Mm,
where digital currency was born. And before go on, coming back to Scotty saying it's a form of slavery. Yep. With the digital currency when it come out, yes, I agree partly, but there is two types. Yep. You have centralized digital digital currency and you have decentralized. Yep. It's which one you want to be in. You understand? All right. Okay. Because of digital currency, it make it so similar now that you don't have to have 2 3 years of skills. Yep. you know all right, and it's about connecting with people who have the experience. It have loads of people out there. For example, my wife and myself, what we do now, we actually teach in the Caribbean, yep, this solution, yep, and basically taking as much as you talk about coffee there. Yep, right now one of the platforms we teach in the Caribbean out there, and it's working very well. Yep, is take the price of a coffee now and multiply it, to multiply it to 60 days. Yep. But I don't want to make no disclaimer, I don't want to make no income claim.
income
But
claims.
it's working well. Yep. And this is platform. It have many platforms out there. All right. One could start looking at network groups. If you want to know how to do it, look at network groups, put a plan in place, like, okay, how much, and it's not we talking about big figures here, how much of that money you want to have that they could have a relief. I just call it relief income. Yeah, where that when that bill come at the end of the month, yeah, you could pay it comfortably. If inflation come, yeah, it won't affect you. All right. because it's not only the governments living debt free, I would say, or nothing doesn't affect them. It has people who is in situations that is not so good, hard financial challenges, but they make the decision to actually make a way, yeah, make a way, yeah, and actually to create some solutions, yeah, to literally create some solutions, and that is what happening right now, yeah, as we speak, okay, so yeah, so you could do that, you know, it have a lot of online content. Number one, you know, if you're not sure with online content, you know, like how to make extra income, because that's what people have to focus on making extra income, because they're always focusing on the problem, you know, like in the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago, when we call and we talk, we really find out how people do in the economy. And they're like, oh, the government this and the government that. So like, what are you going to do about it? Well, we need a solution. Well, how to get a solution? Look within yourself and find what problem you could solve for someone. Yeah. What problem you could solve for someone is a great solution. Number one. That's number one, it could be done. Number two, you know, look to people like Silbon and myself. Yeah, lovely community here. If you know you have basically, you know, you don't know how what's going to happen for Christmas, you need a solution, look to Silbon and myself, because Silbon and myself, one thing we have in common, we always solution oriented, and we always looking for solution for the economy. Yeah, all right. Number three, number three now. Yep. Number three, see, you know, some people don't like selling and stuff, and you know, but selling is a skill. Yeah, but you could have things, yeah, creativity within your own environment. Yeah, within your own environment, that you could actually could actually relate to people, talk to people, or come together with family and friends, and do idea exchange. And when you find, once you start to have that positive drive, you will find, you'll see solutions literally, will actually come to you. All right. Okay. Because I've been in the past, my wife and I have been in the past where traditional business has gone down. It has been a rough time, but we had to, and although it was in our industry, which was the computer industry. Yeah. All right. We had it to adjust. We had to adapt quickly. So you have to get yourself to adapt quickly, as the economy swing, government swing curveball on the economy, and saying this economy and the market. So you have to have yourself in that mindset to adapt yourself to change, and it do have the
Yes.
people around, go to networking clubs. You don't have an idea, go to networking clubs, associate with people that in networking clubs that have ideas that you could latch on to. Yeah, because as always say, there is solution to problems. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're saying right there is there's always a problem, and if you got a solution to the problem, that's where the answer is.
Can I say
When
something a minute?
Yes, Gary, please.
I agree with Donovan, and I think that across the board, you see, there are people who abuse things, abuse systems.
Yes,
Now, I'm saying this. I've said that to say this. Even in the line of work that I do, let's say within the church and such, there are so many ministers.
that's a big business, Gary. People are just getting into church. It's a
Yeah, but
big
listen.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but listen to what I'm saying here.
yeah,
That ministers could live, if they lived within their means, and if they lived a life that people could look up to. But you see,
yeah.
you've got people who say that they are who they say they are, and they fleece people. They're just as bad as the bankers. They're
The
just as
scammers,
bad. What's that?
as the scammers.
Well, they're just as bad as scammers also,
Mm.
because they fleece the people. They fleece the people. I am trying to do the best that I can for my church, for my community, for those who, let's say, who need God, who we think well, everybody needs God. Every individual in this world needs God.
Yes,
Yes. So I am doing what I can do the best way possible. But obviously, there is somebody out there, like what Donovan says, We as ministers, we network. They're networking people who and networking events, whether it's telephones, whether it's double glazing, whether it's
Mm.
for cars, whether it's for whatever. We can network in anything, and even in religion. When you
Yeah.
go to conferences, when you go to conventions, convocations, that's also a networking event. But
Yes.
you see, the thing about it again is that there are people out there. When they see me, they don't look on me and judge me for me. They look at me and judge me for the individual that fleeced them out of 500 US or UK pounds or 25 pounds, or to sow a seed here or to sow a seed there. And then afterwards, when they hear about Reverend so and so or apostle this or prophet that, they're just as bad as the scammer down the road because their lifestyle is no good. When,
Yeah.
of course, the thing about it is that when you say you're a minister, they hold you at a very high
Nice.
degree
Yeah.
of lifestyle, that you must be upright in society. But you see, some of us, we don't live that way. So it's a very fine line. I think it's a very fine line, delicate, very delicate situation that
Mm.
we're all having to do, because when again you're fleeced out of buying properties. Look what happened in Jamaica a few weeks ago, where a young lady, you saw it on Facebook, I'm sure, Silborn,
Mm.
when a young lady, whether she did it ignorantly or she did it foolishly, but somebody came and took 800,000 Jamaican dollars out of her hand because of her property she was to that out of her property she bought, and in
Mm.
the end she lost it because it wasn't theirs to sell.
Yeah.
So there's always somebody somewhere that is taking advantage. And
Mm.
this now, as you've said right now, and even before the show started and the little conversation we had, Silborn, when it comes where the banks, even Scotty mentioned it, the banks don't trust us. The banks don't want to lend us money. But however, the banks is putting up interest rates, making it even that much
Mm.
more harder for us to do anything and to buy anything and to buy something that we need. People need people need to live. People
Yes.
need to live somewhere. Businesses need to be run, but they're not. But people are not, the banks are not trusting people, are not trusting the businesses to operate in the efficient way
Yeah.
that they should.
Well, if Scotty, what would you say are some of the solutions in getting out of this sort of hole that many people are going to find themselves in? A, mortgage is going up by interest rate. B, I'm seeing the petrol going up at the pumps. C, you got electric, which is going up. D, you also have the gas at home, which is going up, and the food costs. Everything is going up at the same time. Uh, a friend of mine who had his car sitting down, not using anything, was finding himself was spending like 700 to 800 pounds a month, and he just sold the car, felt free. Car just sitting on the road because during the lockdown period, nobody has been using cars. I was even saying to myself that what people should even do is to serve a sauce on these big oil companies. If you don't have to drive, don't drive. If you ever walk to the supermarket, walk to the supermarket. Take one of those bags that Kwame Teng had when he came out of the number 10. You know that bag there, the bag from Africa. What Africans use, even though it was a joke. But I think one has got to find some ways and some sort of solution. So Scotty, let me know, and Michelle, let me know what you think. Those on Instagram as well. What is your way forward? Because definitely and without a doubt, Donovan, and what we're talking about is one cannot sit back and expect the government to help us or expect the Bank of England to actually say something that help us. We will have to help ourselves. We will have to help ourselves. We will have to start doing things which are uncomfortable. We will have to start to sell. You know, we start to have to do network marketing. We'll have to start to recruit people. We'll have to start to create a new sort of job or some sort of specs or something else. We have to. What's you guys take on that, Donovan?
Well, Sylvan,
Mm.
do you know how much people know there? We talking about banks and stuff. How much people on the call know that we have new financial solution? Who knows about decentralized finance? I
Mm.
know about it because my wife and I educate ourselves on it. There is decentralized finance. Go up on Google and type decentralized finance. It's literally
Mm.
out there. It have solutions, but people have to get into the skill set. Shortly before I go, Scotty, I was just reading the comments. Scotty, what happened to Bitcoin? Well, Scotty, because Bitcoin has came popular in the pandemic. All right, okay, right. It came popular. I missed out on Bitcoin 2014. I can tell you that right now. That's a long story. 500 could have made me a billionaire right now that I turned down in 2014 because of ignorance. Yeah, what not willing to
I was
educate
up for I
yourself.
was I was, I was up for a lot, and it would have cost about £100 for about
Yes.
100 Bitcoin.
But what happened to Bitcoin? Because when the pandemic struck, the pandemic switched everything. The pandemic switched the whole direction. And we find out people went to cryptocurrency. And because cryptocurrencies gives you the ability, yeah, this is decentralized cryptocurrency, not decentralized ones like what the government want to bring in and what they control. The decentralized ones is where when you have electronic wallets, you have the key to your wallet. Okay, so use your own bank. You have the key to your wallet. And what actually happened there is that because it started to get popular, a lot of people was getting successful with it, you know. Yeah, things that by the time you take in years to save a deposit for a property, yeah, with crypto, you could do that in a couple months, yeah, or even within 2 years. And what that actually started happening now, it started to get so popular now because people started to get more educated. They don't want to be controlled by the banks. And what
Yeah.
happened now, that drive the Bitcoin up. It literally
Yeah.
drive it up. So when they see that now, guess what the Fed's saying? We don't want these people to be successful. So guess what? We're gonna have to bring out some news and get and talk about how Bitcoin is risky and stuff. And they're now trying to focus that on the miner. Now we say not everything has a good and everything has a bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And what actually happened now, the Feds actually start to say, well, let's drive some bad news in, yeah, to actually drive it down. But they have a mission to do that. Why? Because what they want to do, because now when Bitcoin hit that 66,000 in November peak, yeah, the Feds and them and all the governments were saying that, okay, all right, this, this could bring people now and put us, they could be in control and we the elites will be out of, we will get dominated over. So guess what? The
Mm.
bad news coming, drive the cryptocurrency down for everybody to have fear, to instill fear, to sell it off, yep, and then all the big world elites, yep, who controlling the finance buy. Yep. Look when Bitcoin went down to about I think 40,000 or 25,000, Elon Musk buy. You're seeing big companies, PayPal start to get into it because they realized they missed it. They realized people was getting the power. So they create all that fear and people get into the fear, drop down, fear to come to the value, now buying. And everybody say, oh, it's low now. Will it go back up? Yes. Yep. Okay. Because I have experience in trading. Yep. And what people don't realize when you study the markets, yep, right, the markets go up and down. The markets create a pattern every year. You understand?
Mm.
And what actually, when you have a bear market, they call it a bear market or things that is in the down right now, you would always have a time it will rise again. And this is the best time before we should be focusing on what is not working. This is where the time we should get into everything. You understand? Yeah. Get that.
What you're saying, Donovan, is to people need to start to open their minds to new opportunities, things that they were uncomfortable with, but start to be wise and look at certain things, and to also
Exactly.
invest not their mortgage, but something which they can afford to maybe lose, if anything like that. Because everything is a risk, isn't it?
Yes, correct. Everything is a risk.
Everything is a risk. And I think, well, I tell you what I'll do is I'll definitely create a show in the next few weeks talking about solutions because Gary, we have been talking about all these problems with these guys for years, from COVID time. The COVID this, the government this. We spent so many months talking about the revolving door of number 10. And when you check it out, Matt Hancock, he just gone get me out of Africa, get me out of Australia. £400,000. The guy's getting for that. He doesn't care if he gets back into Parliament. He can just invest maybe 200,000 out of that, if anything. Rishi Sunak is rich. Most of all of these guys are okay. The Bank of England governor, when I saw him with his big belly, no disrespect, but these guys are fat, man. These guys,
But
you know,
but but I mean, which MP do you know? I haven't seen any. I'm not saying that there aren't any, but which
yeah,
MP do we know is poor or has a problem or has difficulties? Which one? Tell me. Because I've never seen one. I've never heard of one. I know that you've got a few that probably, go to prison because of something they should have done, or
yes,
lose the whip, or they lose the constituency, or they lose the seat.
yes.
But I never heard of one that is having difficulty with life.
Well,
I've never
well,
known of one.
and because they got access. Access is one of the key things. They got access, so therefore, you know. But I think the reality is, Scotty said they're all criminals. And Michelle, is not true. It's cause and effect. Michelle says, Gary, Michelle, talk about diesel. You said you saw your diesel went up, and our reserve is very low, so it affects everything. Diesel has gone up very big time there, you know and so I think in light of that, we'll have to come back. I'm seeing persons like talking about I'm leaving the country. I just looking at BBC here earlier today. This chap is saying, I'll just show it to you here as well. Home buyers are anxious. There he is there. you know I'm thinking about leaving the country. Interest rates have risen to 3%, the biggest hike since 1989. um and is a veterinary surgeon. Omar Zaghloul moved to the UK from Italy in October and has been renting in Derby for the last 2 years. He had hoped to buy his home in England by the end of the year, but a rising interest rate and higher mortgage costs have thrown his plans into turmoil. My idea was to save for a deposit, but I cannot put all I save into the pot because I have to rent to pay. Another person, I'm a lot more hesitant about buying my first home. Case handler. So the big question is, even for children coming up and families coming up, is what is the solution? Donovan, I leave that with you. Gary, I leave that with you. Let's all find solutions because we can't mope with these guys.
Well, I mean, the solutions. I mean, I hear what Donovan is saying, and I don't have anything against that. I mean, everybody's got to try and find a solution to help themselves, but not
Mm.
everybody is wired that way. I mean,
Yes.
it's like education is for all. We can always say education is for all. All of our kids, all of our children, we send them to, let's say,
Mm.
prep, you know, and junior school and high school and college onto universities and such to prepare themselves. But not everybody is degree minded. Not everybody excels to get their PhD, or some people don't want masters. Some people just don't want
Yeah.
bachelors. Some people are good with their hands. Some people are not. Some people are good with their brains, but not with their hands.
Yes.
So when you put them in a
Mm.
situation now where you're saying to them, okay, well, be an entrepreneur. I don't know if sometimes I'm not saying it's not there, but what I'm saying, everybody's not wired that way. We have to be so careful. And that is why the pressure is on for some. And believe me, some people will not cannot cope with this. Some people
And
will
and
not
and
cope
and
with this.
and that's a brilliant point there, which is we cannot not laugh, but snuff at it. Michelle is saying land is what we need to start investing in, but Michelle, they need the money to buy the land, so they need to work. Because what is happening now, money just going up into puff into cost of living. Donovan.
Yes, and it also has, a lot of people, you see, is what we choose to do. Because do you know, I know you all hear about the metaverse, yeah, and about virtual land, yeah. Kids as young as 14 millionaires, yeah, you know, Yep, have virtual land too as well. Yes, we have the land and stuff, but the thing is getting the capital. So what to do? Get the capital. Yep. All right. Because I mean, my wife and I, we have solutions. Yep. And some of the solutions cost. Yep, it do cost. But now we had so much people that reach out to us that they want to be part of the solutions, but the solutions cost. Land costs. If you had to start a business, it costs. A McDonald's franchise is like $500,000, and you have to do a whole year training. Yeah. So my wife and I say, no, listen, let's get a platform where people could start. This is where we bring in solution where they could start for a McDonald's meal. Yeah, a fast. I don't want to make income. Yes, a cost of a meal. Yeah, and let's help them to multiply that. You understand? Because there are platforms out there. Hey, it's a risk, but if it costs a McDonald's McDonald's meal, yeah, and let's say something because things do go wrong, guess what? It seems like you're eating a McDonald's meal and it just gone in the stomach and vanished. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. So we start the solutions out there. Listen, there that solution we start out there internationally. Yeah, 50 in the course of 48 hours, over 50 new members. Yeah, because they astonished of what they was like, Lisa, not boasting or anything, but Lisa, Donovan, thank you for bringing this to us. Yeah, and all we say now, back in the days where you have to understand everything to take action, that don't work in today's world. Yeah, you just have to get something that you desire. If you want, all right, for example, like what Misha said, if you want somebody to buy land, yeah, it have ways you could actually get land without having to have your own money. Yeah, but all you have to do is watch that trainer or get associated with that trainer and just follow the instructions. And this is why we have it big now with solutions. We say, okay, the money for the solution is tight. All right, we will get you to a lower platform where you can start. Let's build some income there. Then you could take that now, come into the next solution. Now you have two streams of income. Yeah. When you're building the two now, then we have a third stream of income. They can take from the boat, go into the third stream, and that's how we actually graduate and build your income.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note, want to thank you guys so much for coming on. Gary, any last word, Gary?
No, I mean, my heart goes out to everyone really. Those who are going to be finding it very difficult. I mean, we can always talk about it, And a lot of people say, we ourselves, we are talking. We don't. Well, you are presenting solutions, so don't think I'm saying that you're not presenting anything. You are telling them, but sometimes we do talk a lot and we're not doing anything, or we can't produce anything to help anybody. But there are people out there that's going to struggle. That's really going to struggle, even in the short term, because between now and the time that they can make money, they're not making money 2 or 3 days later. It's probably a week. It could be a month. It could be 2 months down the road, and people want to know.
Yeah. And that is so correct, Gary. That is why we'll have to create more shows looking at how people can downsize and cut back and how they can use different alternatives, because especially in cooking and all those sort of things, and also get some economists or persons who have ideas how to generate different forms of income.
And I appreciate Donovan coming, because I think if Donovan could come on a little bit more, because we're in the time in the season now where people need practical help. People are going to really need to hear somebody like Donovan. And even if there could be some contact numbers or whatever, Donovan, to point people towards him. Well, if they can help, then that is needed right now.
Well, if anybody want to get hold of Donovan, just get hold of me.
Yeah.
And I'll put a link to Donovan there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can pull things together. Because when we had COVID, one of the things that we did during COVID, people had time on their hands, and people were creating opportunities. People were being innovative. People were looking in the mirror and realized that they weren't happy with where they were at. And you know what? I think a lot of us actually missed that boat during COVID time, where we should have been preparing, but we got a bit very fat at the same time, especially with the furlough. No disrespect, and people got a bit very complacent when we should have created many options or streams of income, because none of these guys that speak to us have one stream of income. Richard Sunak don't have one stream of income. Richard Branson don't have one stream of income. I can bet the Bank of Jamaica, the Bank of Governors, not Jamaica, Bank of England governor have different streams of income. Boris Johnson, he has streams of income. He's now going to fly to Egypt to some COP something or whatever like that. Uh, you know, Matt Hancock, streams of income.
You see,
Everybody have different streams of income,
you see the thing
not
about,
just one.
I mean, you see the thing about it, Silburn, is that the I mean, if we just look at the UK, and it could be copied and pasted in other economies, but the economy of the UK right now, we are the ones keeping that going. It's us. It's us, the middle class. It's not the governor. It's not the man Hancocks. It's not
Yeah.
you know, whatever up there. It's you and me keeps the economy going. So the more they tax us, is the more money they get. And what we
Right.
need to do, to some extent, what we need to do, if I'm not saying that we should be violent and such,
Yeah.
but I can't see you going out there and Donovan going out
Good.
there either. But
Chant down Babylon, chant down Babylon.
but
One more time.
but I tell you what, if we could learn something from the French, I think we would go a long way. Because the French population, when they want to go out and change the direction of the government, they go all out. Nothing's
And they never give up. They never give up until they achieve
never
it.
give up.
Mhm.
And what do? We'll probably go out there for 1 and 2 days or 3 days, and then after that, we finish.
We're tired.
We're tired. We go home. The
And
police come out heavy-handed, and we go home. Now, that is not what we should do. I know I'm a minister, and I should probably talk in this fashion. But
speak it, preacher. Preach it.
no. But the thing about it is that we need to be consistent. The government and the agencies of this land, they know how we act. That is why they can say what they want, they do what
Yeah.
they want, and they know we're not going to respond.
Absolutely.
They know,
They've psych us out. They've psych us
yes, they know that we're going to come onto a platform like this and talk about it, and then go home and sleep, and then tomorrow we go back to what we're doing. As if
Well,
nothing-
I tell you what. I'll invite anyone who want to get into the business with Donovan and myself to message me and make sure that we don't. It didn't turn out just to be a talking end result.
Yeah, well, what I could say, Silbon, I'll authorize, share the Zoom link. We share the solution in 2 hours time. Who wants to come, feel free to come on, see what we're doing. See how we change the world. Yep.
Well, Silbon, how come you're doing this thing to me, man? Eh? How come?
Huh?
How come you're getting fat like one of them fat cats, and I'm out here struggling? Eh? You and
Me nah, I think the camera have me wide.
But I was speaking. I was gonna speak to the Lord first to send it to you.
No, I mean, I would be interested to see what you guys do. I'd like, I'm not well, I studied business in as much as I studied a bit of Bible and theology and stuff, which I'm very much interested in. But I did do a degree in business, so I'm very much that minded. I love economics and I love banking and such, which I did do to some extent. However, I'm not that way inclined. I worked with as Silbert knows, I worked in the financial sector for a little while. But I'd love to know what you guys do. So if I have a couple of £100, I can probably push it your way and see what happens there.
All right, we'll talk, Gary. We'll talk. Well,
We'll talk.
It didn't end. It didn't turn out to a talk shop only. That's why I'm using Donovan Lingua, which is creating solutions as much as possible. And Donovan, there is Scotty is saying there's a digital currency called the digital black dollar. There's so many digital currencies which are being
Yes,
created every
it's
day,
plenty.
isn't it?
It's plenty. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but you have to know
So
which ones actually rolling, which is good
yeah,
and stuff. And it will take a little education to actually get to know it or associating with people like-minded like us who have the experience with it, you know. Because two
yes,
years,
yes.
3 years ago, when in Trinidad and Tobago, most of them didn't know what cryptocurrency was, you know. And now we have over
Mm,
200-300 people that we personally taught, yeah, to have digital currency, and now this smiling, you know. Yep, and that is what we aim to do. We aim to do. My wife and I aim to even set up now, get places to have educational to teach people these skills. You know, like rent a hall or get a hall and have now digital building skills. Yep, and while you're doing that digital building, you're earning at the same time. The theme what is going now is earning while learning. Is not go study hard 3 years, get a certificate, then have to get the experience. No, it's earning and learning simultaneously.
mm,
Yep.
mm. Scotty, you got my details there, please, and you have communicated with me by email already. Please send me that information about the digital black dollar as well. Let us start to share and let us pull together as much as possible and strengthen ourselves. We can do it if we put our heart and our soul into it, and stop waiting for these guys that come out of their lofty office, sit down on a desk, and then we all having kittens while they go back to their lofty house and have their pies and fat pies and living well off. And us plebs have to be um, struggling. So let us see if we can find solutions for people. Yeah, let us be creative and find solutions for people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. Gary, don't leave, and Donovan, don't leave. Thank you so much for joining tonight. And next week, we're back again Thursday night, Saturday night, Talk and Sip. And those on Instagram as well. Thank you for joining. And I'm sure people from Leap who is watching as well. Peace out. Have a good night. And God bless you.